Welcome to our home-based business class. We do this at least a couple times a month. We were actually blessed with 5 Fridays and one holiday last month, so we are having two in a row, and we appreciate everyone that is here, and we appreciate everyone that is going to listen to the replay. We love to bring you these because we try to bring you different stories and let you know that no matter where you are in your journey, you probably have a place here with us, at least to get health and wellness and possibly to get an income. So, we're going to share some stories of how we got on this journey and why we chose this particular business and to do a home based business. And with that, I'll turn it over to Anthony for him to start with him and Dayna's story.
Okay, so let me first and foremost say welcome everybody. It was nice to meet Chardon for the second time. She's fairly new, and even I have Evelyn on here and some of our newer people as well. I just want to start by saying that we're glad to have you here because obviously there's something that stuck out about having, whether it's additional money within your family or additional time freedom, financial independence, or if you just love the products and you really want to share them, there's something that stuck out and caught your attention that is the reason why you're here with us today. So you are to be commended for that and applauded because with a lot of the things that is going on in the world right now and just how busy everyone is, a lot of times life can get in the way. And you will find that if you choose to proceed with Young Living on the business side, that doesn't go away. Life will always try to find a way to get in the way. So I'm glad that you all were able to carve out some time to be with us this evening/afternoon, depending on where you are. I just want to go back and just kind of share a little bit of my background, and then my wife, Dayna, can chime in if she would like, because my relationship with network marketing and being self-employed in some aspect goes back almost 14, 15 years ago. So when I was fresh out of high school, I hopped into some rinky-dink job just because that was what I was always shown, right? You go to school, get a good job, graduate the whole nine, right? It wasn't until I was actually approached by one of my cousins who is maybe about 5, 6 years older than myself at the time, that I was introduced to network marketing. And because I already had some skills that transferred well into this business model, it seemed like a good fit at the time. So I went home, I was all excited. It actually, at that time, was a little bit more expensive to get into this business. At the time, I think it was roughly $500 to $600 just to start. And then you had a high cost of operation every single month. And for a person that was only making $30,000 a year, at the time, that was no easy feat, okay? But I'm all excited. I go home, I talk to my wife about it, and this was the first time I had ever been exposed to network marketing. So I'm like, this seems too good to be true. There's no way that this actually works.
Looking up like it is.
And she's like, but if this is what you want to do, I'll support you. So we get involved, dive in feet first. We start to have some mild success because every time whether you're opening a traditional business or you're doing network marketing, if you're self-employed, what have you, there always should be some sort of system, right? Some sort of system to success. So we follow the system, start getting mild success and really enjoying what we were doing. And then a huge lawsuit hits this company. And they're like, yeah, everything's fine. No need to worry. They changed the business model. All of these things that they said they would never change, they changed. But we're like, you know what? I still believe in the dream. So we kept going. And then a year later, they went out of business. So that left us in a really odd position because I knew within myself that I'm like, I don't really want to go back to work in a regular day job because I've experienced the other side. And I like it over here, even though the grass is not greener, it's softer. So fast forward to 6 years ago, because from the time that business closed and to when Young Living was introduced to us, some time had passed. I mean, we now have been married for I think 6 or 7 years. We now had a child and or children, actually children, because our son was born at that time. And my wife comes to me talking about these oils that she was introduced to by her sister. Um, and I immediately, as she's describing it, I'm like, that's a network marketing company. Don't want nothing to do with that. So I remember, because I worked midnights at the time, I came from the healthcare field. I used to work in nursing before Young Living was introduced to us. And I remember being on the phone with her at 2 a.m. in the morning, arguing back and forth on whether she was in a network marketing company, and she thoroughly disagreed. I said, nope, that's a network marketing company. We're not doing another network marketing company for X reasons, right? But as she was so determined, I did listen to some of her requests, because I remember she said, hey, if this is what you want to do, I fully support you. So I tried my best to do that. We went to Salt Lake City for Young Living's first convention 6 years ago. And I'm introduced to all of these successful people, not only within Young Living, but I also got to kick the tires, so to speak, and learn more about the product. And the more that I learned about Young Living's oils and the other products that they had, I'm like, oh, this is actually useful even outside of a business, right? So I start ordering products and trying some for myself. I get all excited. People started smelling me, and they're like, hey, what are you wearing? That smells kind of good. What kind of cologne is that? And I'm like, it's not cologne, it's my oils. I'm just telling people about it. Next thing I know, they want to sign up. I said, oh shoot, looks like I'm in another network marketing business. And it's probably one of the best experiences that I've had then since. Because fast forward 6 years later, and even along that journey, what I've been able to get out of this business, as far as even the mental training, the friendships that we've gained, the financial benefits that have come along as well, and just overall improvement in the life for myself and my family is invaluable. And so I just want to talk to the person maybe that's a little hesitant, whether you're just starting out or you're ready to dive in head first. There's a couple things that I'll say before I'll turn it over to Dayna and see if she wants to add anything. If this is something that you want to commit to, first thing I'll say is learn the system, follow the system. And I will also tell you that this is not an easy business at all. You do have to be committed, but it is a very rewarding business model for those that choose to stay consistent and working. So 6 years later, I mean, through this course, Young Living as a company and also as a business model has allowed us to do some things along with our secular employment that we never would have thought possible. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. And like I mentioned, it's one of the best decisions that we ever made for our family overall, our health and wellness, our financial health, all of the things above. So that's why I started out and said you are to be commended to be here, because this is probably one of the best decisions that you're going to make, but it's probably also one of the most important decisions you're going to make as well. So hopefully we bring you some good value with the information you're going to receive today. And at the end, once again, we'll answer any questions, or I'll add a little bit to what Tashena is going to present to you guys.
Okay, y'all want me to go?
Sure.
Okay, because like our stories are going to sound like we're completely different people and we don't like even go together. So actually, I want to start. Who here heard the news about Rihanna?
About her?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
About her being a billionaire or something.
Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Rihanna has now hit billionaire status. Okay. Billionaire status with a B. Okay. She is the highest paid female musician in the world right now. Okay. Do you know who the highest paid rapper is? If you're in my team, you do.
I think I know that one. Isn't it Jay-Z?
Jay-Z?
I'm sorry, female.
Oh, highest paid rapper? Female rapper?
It's not Cardi B?
Those people came on the scene too.
It's okay if you're on my team and you tell them.
I can't remember.
Female rapper. I mean, all those people, they came on the scene too late, and I can't say that they're branded well that are coming to my head. Rapper. Female rapper. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj, y'all.
I was
Oh.
close.
Nicki Minaj.
Really?
And this is what I want to tell you. And if y'all not subscribed to my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, because I did a video, okay, where I talked about the power of business and leveraging yourself. And the two people I used in that scenario was Rihanna with Fenty, and I used Nicki Minaj with endorsements. They did it two separate different ways, but both are powerful. So Rihanna chose to create her own brand, right? Yes, she made some money through music. I'm not denying that, okay? She made money through music, but she didn't become a billionaire until she took business and branded herself, okay? Because her label owns her music. She doesn't own any of those rights, right? As a musician, she was still an employee. And so as a result, her label controlled her time and her money. And so she made a decision to go after things that were important on her heart, and she created her brand. Whether you like Nicki Minaj or not, that is a smart woman. She did not create her own brand. What she chose to do is endorse things that she believed in that was already established. And that is the exact same thing that Young Living is. And as a result, in both of them, I love to share this too, both of them came from poverty. I don't know if you know what and how impoverished both Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago are, but in Trinidad, I think it's one of their dollar, no, I'm gonna say it backwards. $1 to $10 of ours? No.
No, one of our dollars is worth $10 of theirs.
Yes.
10 of their currency.
So they have to work 10 times as hard to make $1 in the US. The reason I bring that information out is because this is exactly what is presented to you guys through Young Living. And for me, I understood this very, very quickly in my life. So I'm going to skip the first part of my financial situation, and I want to just go straight to when I decided to become an entrepreneur. The first thing I did, because I was in the beauty industry, is I created my own brand and business, and I had my own spa. When I had my own spa, here's the thing. I had tons of overhead, right? I had tons and tons of overhead, right? And I had to keep producing clients. I had to keep producing clients in order to, for the first part of my entrepreneurship journey, just to make it, just to stay afloat, not to be profitable. It wasn't until I understood the power of how to incorporate Young Living that I was actually able to leverage myself, because the branding was already there. The model was already there. All I needed to do is be like Nicki Minaj and endorse what I believed in. And so for me, I know in what I believe, even in the first stages of this business, there's so much power. I think it's a beautiful thing to get to platinum and to get to diamond, and we all have that ambition, but there's so much power just hitting star, just hitting and maintaining senior star. Because I want you to think about, what would your life look like if you never had to pay for shampoo again, cleaning products again? You never had to pay for deodorant, soap, toothpaste. Are these things that most of us, I hope all of us, are using them on a daily basis, right?
You would hope.
Right. When you look at, I don't know if we're going to drop it in the chat or whatever, but if you look at the income disclosure statement, that is possible at a senior star level, because Young Living can be paying for these things that you have, right? And then we get to executive, right? And at executive, and for me, executive brought a whole lot more freedom. At executive, I was able to also set aside some extras. And as a result, we were able to pay off our mortgage. faster than we would have had we not had that extra income, the power of part-time. Again, I think so many times in businesses like this, we take it for granted because the startup cost is so low. The overhead is so low in comparison to traditional businesses. So what I want you to understand as we go through this process, right? I was able to shut down my spa, homeschool my kids, right? Get back the value of my time by simply implementing the things that you're going to learn tonight. And so again, we all want diamond, right? But I want you to think about wherever you are now, whether you're just getting started or if you hit star, what your life would look like just pushing to senior star, just pushing to executive, just pushing to silver, because I'm still pushing the silver. But there's so much power just in those beginning ranks. And I feel like it's so important that we don't forget those things. So that's all I have.
I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to conquer the world already. But we got more for you. We got more for you. We're gonna hear from Sheila. I'm gonna quickly share my story, and we're gonna get some statistics and data at you for those that need that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sheila.
Hello, everybody. And yeah, Dayna, that was so powerful. And I did not know about Nikki, and I did not know about Rihanna. So not only do we get this great information about, about possibilities in our lives, we also get great information about celebrities when we come to our calls. So that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. And truly, that is powerful because there's a shift happening. And I'll introduce myself, but I want to start out by saying there's a shift happening. We're all seeing it. We're all a part of it. The whole world is a part of it right now. And so this shift that is happening is also what's coming along with that for a lot of people is a shift in thinking. And so I want to challenge you to start a shift in your thinking as you watch this video or this presentation, whether you're on live right now or whether you're watching the replay, then start thinking about shifting. What are we shifting to? We're shifting to how we might need to rethink traditional ways of making money. When I say traditional, what we are all used to, like Anthony said, go to school, get a job, work your 9 to 5, that type of thing. There's a shift. There's a better way. Even if it's in addition to that, if that's what you're doing now, there's this entrepreneurial shift that's happening more and more and more to a greater extent to more and more people. And I was bit by the entrepreneur bug, I want to say, gosh, maybe 20 years ago. And like Anthony, I had some not really bad experiences, or I don't even want to call it bad, but they just weren't working out for me. I love network marketing. I love being able to work from home. I loved being able to work around my family. But what I realized now after being with Young Living is that I didn't really have the skills that were necessary. There was nothing wrong with the industry. I just hadn't yet acquired the skills. So who am I? I'm Sheila Sherman. I am a platinum with Young Living. I've been doing Young Living for, it's going on 13 years in November. I raised my kids for the most part. I got 6 kids, homeschooling mom, and I got started while I was homeschooling my children. Like I said, I love being able to work my work around what was my priority, which was homeschooling and raising my kids at the time. They're all adults now, except for one. And so I still love it. I still love that freedom. So number one, there's a freedom, whether that's family, children, whether that's some type of a cause that you feel very strongly about that you work in, whether that is having a brick and mortar business. We have one. This business has allowed us to be able to get a brick and mortar business, which is a horse boarding stable, a couple years ago, and investing in that. So whether it's investments, all these things and more you can do. This is just another way of investing your time and in order to be able to render some profits, a profitable, more profits, whether that is, like Dayna said, whether that is for, paying off a mortgage, or whether it becomes a full career that you're branding. So there's so many possibilities with doing this business. And I just want to encourage you. I've been blessed to be able to have this business in times where my husband's business had to be closed down many years ago. We had a foundation with Young Living already. It was already bringing in an income. And when that happened, we said, hey, we could do more with this business as well. And that's what we started to do. And so there's so much available. So let's go back to this shift in thinking. As you're watching the presentation as it's coming up, I had to do a shift, and that shift is pushing forward, whether that is pushing forward to Diamond, as Dayna mentioned, we're pushing forward to that next level. And Dayna asked the question, what would your life look like if you did, if you pushed to silver, if you pushed to executive, if you push? And that's interesting because today, just this morning, I was thinking, what would your life look like if you did everything you knew to do? What would your life look like if you did everything you knew to do for your finances? You need to get your finances together. Maybe you want to be debt free. What would your life look like if you actually did what you knew to do? What would your life look like if you did what you knew to do in the area of health? This is a health and wellness company. What would your life look like if you did everything that you knew to do? See, a lot of us know what to do, and then we just don't do it. So what would your life look like if you banded together with a community of like-minded people that cheer you on to your next goal? So I just want you to think of those questions as you're watching the presentation. I thank you so much. I'm so happy and grateful to be able to share a little bit of my story and hopefully motivate or inspire people to just do a little shift in their thinking, open their minds, take a look at what we have to offer. And yeah, that's it.
Alrighty.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks so much, Sheila. So I'll quickly share just a little bit of my story. I love sharing my story because, again, I'm not really the traditional Young Living person. When we get on our Monday calls, I am not the, mid-30s homeschool crunchy mom with 2.5 kids and 1.2 dogs. Like that, I don't have any of that stuff in my life, right? I am an automotive professional. And in my world, we exercise, which is really cool, but we have pizza parties once a month. We eat Buffalo Wild Wings once a week, and we get to our 30s and we start to have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and we just accept it and we start piling on the medication. So that's the world that I come from. We pretty much go to the doctor. Whatever little trend is that everybody else is doing, maybe we'll do that in the wintertime, but we're just not really all that healthy. But for me personally, when I got into my 30s, all of my ailments just came one after another. So I got gut issues, and then I got hormone issues, and then I was in a couple accidents in a 6-month period. And with all the things that I had going on, then I, of course, was starting to feel depressed. And so I was looking for solutions. I had no clue, nor did I believe that essential oils would have been a part of those solutions, because I was Googling my way to good health. I was eating these big horse pill vitamins for women from Vitamin World. I was getting essential oils from Amazon, and the essential oils that I got from all these other companies didn't work. They didn't do anything for me. The lavender didn't even relax me. And so I continued to just try to search. I started exercising and eating right. And I clicked interested to an online party, because I do that because I'm nice. And I usually don't go, though. And so somebody thought that meant I was actually interested. And from that moment forward, they kept on inviting me. So I finally went to a home party in January, about 6 months after I saw my friends were talking about, I'm diffusing lavender and it smells amazing. And I was like, whatever, you're just trying to sell me something. With the intention of not buying oils, because oils did not work, in my opinion. Panaway was placed on my body. My life was drastically changed. And then I was like, oh, but my sister and my stepmom, they kind of crunchy like that. They like to do that stuff. So I'm going to have a home party and I'm going to get them in, because they more like that. And I could not even afford my kit that night, but I kept stalking the website, because for the first time in like 3 years, from 2012 to the beginning of 2015, I had hope. I had hope that I was not going to have to be anemic. I had hope that I was going to be able to have less body pain. And I had hope that I was going to be able to find my happy again. And let me tell you that 6.5 years later, I have all of that and more. Like, I've never been healthier, because I wasn't even looking to get rid of allergies. And I used to couldn't breathe. I wasn't even looking to get rid of asthma. And I used to suffer all the time. I wasn't looking to get rid of eczema, but because of the education through Toxic Free Living, I got rid of eczema. So I just want to let you guys know, if you got a flicker of hope, I want you to say yes, because your life could be so much better. And this week, I shared with some people before we started, I had the opportunity to do not one, but 2 mindfulness sessions at my automotive job at General Motors. And people were begging for it and like, can I get the replay? And they were so excited. And I had to sit, I put it on my Facebook and my Instagram. I had to sit and reflect, because like, this is amazing, right? This is not the world that I come from. But like Sheila said, there is a shift. People need emotional support. They need to know how to regulate their emotions. They need immune support right now, and they're looking for it. People who traditionally didn't even care about it are looking for it. And even if you're not that person right now, I promise you, if you start today, a year later, you'll be so different. When I was doing my little reflection, I'm like, I'm so glad that I didn't let myself get stuck or tell myself that I can't do this because of my mistakes or my imperfection, because I'm running a mindfulness class, 2 of them in 2 different areas. And 8 weeks ago, I had a CPTSD crying fit breakdown. But I assessed that. I figured out what I needed to do better. And I didn't let that stop me from continuing to share emotional wellness. A year ago, when I was in COVID, I was having a really hard time living at home by myself between May and probably August. But I didn't let that stop me from starting to teach on emotional wellness. Like, the first time my team was like, no, we need to do something on emotional wellness, I almost had a breakdown. I was like, what? I don't do that. Like, that's not what I signed up for with Young Living. I want to talk about my hormones and ninja. I don't want to talk about emotions. But I went and I got an AFT session and I worked that out so that I could teach on emotions. And 2 years before that, I was overwhelmed and I was hiding at work. And 6 years before that, like I said, we don't do this in the automotive. I used to take stress away, and I would go in the bathroom and shut the stall door and sniff it like I was sniffing crack to hide it from people. Because that's essential oils is not what we do in the automotive industry. So that's my message for you. Even if you don't feel like that's not really me, just start anyways, because you're going to get some hope. And a year from now, you're going to be such a different person and you're going to be so proud of yourself. So with that, I'm going to go into the presentation where we talk about a little bit of statistics on why this is the best time, really and truly, to start a home-based business and why we've chosen the company that we have. So we already talked about my story. This is just one of my favorite slides because it's just so simple and so clear. Here in the United States, the years between 2008 and 2010, we refer as the Great Recession. And these are companies that were created in 2008 to 2010. So when everyone was losing their homes, when small businesses were shutting down, these companies saw a need, filled it, created their companies, and now they are household names and they are thriving. How many of these do you use? How many of these do you at least recognize? I have seen all of these within the last couple of months. I use WhatsApp all day long, every day to communicate with any of my international team and friends. I use Instagram all day long, all day to also communicate in some groups with some friends that are local on a smaller scale and to post and get information. Venmo is a very popular payment system. It was a requested payment system where I was at somewhere recently. Square is another popular payment system. If your local coffee shop has this big old white thing in front of it, when you check out, that's probably a Square machine. Groupon is my favorite way to get some discounted, like new self-care methods. Like if I want to try a new massage therapist or a salt palace or something like that, I'm gonna hop on Groupon, see if they got some deals. Pinterest is normally mom's favorites for recipes and crafts. I already told y'all I don't do all that. So I just get graphics from there occasionally. They'll pop up on there for me. And Uber is a new method for us to transport ourselves around when I am out of town completely by myself. I do not like to drive myself around, usually, unless it's for work and they're renting me a car. So I will Uber or Lyft my way all over. So why network marketing? Well, one of the great things is you can build it part-time, anytime, and from anywhere. 2 weeks ago, I was out of town in Nashville for work, and I was still able to do my classes that I needed to do. You can launch it for as little as $500 to $1,000. That is traditional network marketing. However, the company that we represent, you can actually launch your business for less. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because your business partners have a vested interest in you. So you have people on here that are not even on the same team that are collaborating, and the individuals that are part of your team, because they have a vested interest in helping you succeed, they're going to do everything that they can to help you succeed. You create enough tax deductions alone to make it worthwhile. This is one of my favorite things, tax deductible vacations, because I'm going to visit team members or I'm going elsewhere for training. And I actually, in 2008, had some financial crisis of my own, and I had to go out and get new jobs over that period by 2009 and 2010. And I actually did so much work in the 5 years afterwards that I pushed myself into another tax bracket. And my income would have been all eaten up by my new tax bracket if I didn't have these tax deductions. You can learn while you earn it. So the day I booked my home party before I even had my kit. And so 3 weeks after I had my kit, I had a successful home party, and I was able to get a check that next month off the work that I did the day that I had started my business. You can earn 500, 1,000, 5,000 or more a month. And you have people on this call that do that. It's real. With time and success, your income will be produced by hundreds, perhaps thousands. So why health and wellness, right? Because you can get into this thing called network marketing and do technology, or you could do some type of bag. Why health and wellness though? Well, the global wellness market reached approximately 4.75 trillion in 2019, and we can assume it was higher in 2020. I've Googled several times and tried to find the statistics. Hopefully it'll be updated eventually. The health and wellness industry growth is a rate of 6.4%. That's greater than inflation. That means that it's on a growth curve, and we don't have any signs of it stopping, especially with what is still going on in 2021 and people needing immune support and needing relaxation and emotional support. The categories are so broad when you think about health and wellness. Complementary medicine, preventive medicine, healthy eating, nutrition, weight loss, spa economy, physical activity, personal care, beauty, anti-aging, and more. And when we get to our beloved company, Young Living, that we represent, we touch all of those areas. We have the largest selection of essential oils, oil and foods products, and toxic-free lifestyle brands. frequently, almost the end of every month, I have one or two people that come in my inbox and they say, hey, this is hard for me to do, but I'm trying to reach a sales goal and I was wondering if you could help me. Could you please buy X? And 9 times out of 10 is something I offer. I'm like, y'all don't know I already got makeup? I got makeup. Like, I don't need your makeup. I got the best makeup on the planet. Young Living owns their own farms or partners and keeps the same standard with farms. I visited 2 of them. My visit to the farm in Croatia, it just came up in my timeline. It happened about 2 years ago, was one of the best experiences in my life. The farm owner was local. He was so passionate. It was so amazing seeing the distillation process in every single piece, even though it was smaller than Utah, but seeing every single piece of that process. Like, you can't, once you do that, you can't, nobody can tell you these oils are expensive when you see that process. Like, you just laugh when they say that. You can't, and you can't lower your standards when you see that. Like, when you see how intricate that process is and how clean it is, like, you will be with Young Living for life, and nobody can convince you that it is not worth it. So if you have not been to a farm, make sure you get to a farm. They have industry-leading research and testing and a seed to sale promise unmatched in the industry. This past week, we've been on lots of calls with lots of different diamonds, and I love like some of the stories that they tell about the quality. And like, when, I remember like hearing from the sidelines when there was a particular oil that everybody loved that was out of stock, and what we had to do in order to just go without sales because we won't break that seed to sale promise. And 25 plus years in the industry, now 27 plus 10 years of research before that, and low startup costs. Again, if you decided you were going to do some type of clothing network marketing, you might need $4,000. And generally it takes about $500 to start one of these. But Young Living, you can do this really with about $250 with your business builder kit and a good supply of the best essential oils. You can actually start this business for less than $250. And then again, because we talked about how our lives have been changed, we always have to show our income disclosure statement. So as a distributor, you can already get something. If you're a star, you get on average about $75 a month. At a senior star, you can get on average about $250 a month. That is enough to get most of the promos, most of the months. So you don't have to worry about how expensive it is anymore because you've got it covered. And then executive, like we've mentioned, yes, I want to be a Royal Crown Diamond. Yes, I want to be diamond as soon as possible. Yes, I want to be platinum and gold. But at executive, I could always buy everything that I wanted. I never had to worry about it because you get on average close to $500 per month. And you get a little extra to start paying down some of your bills. You can get all those 300 promos, and then you can start paying off your house. You can start paying off your car. You can start to already work towards financial freedom at the level of executive. And that is our goal for everyone on our team if they so choose. Silver, you make on average $2,000 a month. Every time that we have convention or we have our seasonal rally, I always get the bundles. And inevitably, a lot of times, some people from my team will come back and they'll be like, Silver's got extra access to stuff. No, but I can afford the expedited shipping and I can buy the bundles because it comes out of my Young Living check. And I need to promote that to the team. Again, earlier before we started this recording, I was telling everyone how amazing and life-changing the Divine Destiny bundle is. It's my job to make sure that I have access to those things and I can genuinely share my personal stories and testimonies so that my team can be well educated. And being at Silver allows me to do that. It allows me to actually be able to travel for some Young Living education, to travel when that's available, to support some of my team. So being at Silver in and of itself, and for many families, when there's a 2-income family and the wife possibly was only working part-time, that's enough to retire her. At Gold, you make on average $5,600 a month. And for a lot of people, that is enough to start planning the retirement of the main income earner. And at platinum, when you're making close to $14,000 a month, that is a very solid income. And we have a platinum on this call, and we have a couple of good friends that are platinums. At diamond is where you're making lots of extra and you're able to start giving back. You can start giving back way before that. But I've seen diamonds do things that I'm just like, that's just ridiculous. They just arrived at the convention and like, hey, team members, all 250 of you, let's go get matching boots. Because they just got the ability to bless people randomly like that. That's what level I want to be on. Making on average $35,000, not because I need it, but because I want to show people that it can be done and because I want to bless more people. Crown Diamond on average, $64,000, and Royal Crown Diamond, $144,000. So that is the data that we want to share. And again, I really want you guys to think about where you want to be, really just in the next 90 days. Where do you want to be on that chart in the next 90 days? Because getting to, no matter what you are today, you can get to executive in the next 90 days. Because right now is the time that we need, in August and September, we need to connect with our team. We need to bring them around. We need to invite them to classes. We need to make our schedule, get them to classes. You need to work directly on a weekly basis with the person that's your mentor. Because October and November this year, now that we got a new website, we're gonna actually have Black Friday. It's going to be easy when we get to the end of October and November. So if you commit today to a 90-day hustle and put in that work and show up and invite people, you will get to where you want to be by the end of that 90 days. So make the decision today. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Anthony. He's going to point out a couple other statistics and wrap it up for us.
All right. Excellent information, Tashena. Thank you very much for sharing that. I just wanted to share just some things that kind of make you think. Because for a lot of people who are probably on this call today, you may be at an impasse in your life or a crossroad, because COVID has caused and disrupted a lot of what people's normal day-to-day looks like in their career paths. We're seeing a huge shift. Once again, there was the shift that Tashena talked about, and now we're seeing another shift where more people are looking for opportunities to be able to work at home, right? Or now they're being more selective with what they choose to do for a living, because they realize that time is very short. It's the one thing that we can't get back, and you have options, right? So these are just some of the things that I use to, looking back, to help me to understand why this is such an excellent business model. Some things to give you to think about. These questions here. If you call in sick, will you get paid? Okay. I know now, remember I told you I used to work as a nurse. I left that field and I now work as an electrician. If I call in sick, I don't get paid. Okay. What if you're injured and unable to work? Will you still get paid? Not for me, right? What if you or your spouse passes away? Will you be able to live off of your income, or will you be able to live off of theirs? Something to think about. What if the company that you're working for decides, hey, you know what? We have to scale back just a little bit because maybe we're not operating, we're not as profitable as we once were, so we're going to eliminate your position. What would you do? These are really some things to think about, because as we look at navigating what the past 2 years have been like, it seems like everyone has a side hustle. And one of the reasons that that's such a great thing to have, regardless of what it looks like, is being able to build additional income for your own family is what leads to true financial independence. So you may have, you may be in the boat like Tashena and I, you may have a good job. Those jobs could disappear very, very quickly. Or you could be time starved, right? Or time and unforeseen occurrence could happen to us all. So what is your goal to increase some of the goals that you have for you and your family in the next 5 years? I think back to 5 years ago, what our life looked like then is very, very, very different from what it looks like now, even at executive and senior star level. And granted, Dayna and I both have our own accounts. So the income disclosure that you guys looked at, multiply that by however many people you have who can have accounts in your home and build a business, because Young Living allowed spouses to build accounts 2 years ago. So, and people often sometimes don't think about the power of even starting part-time. The beauty of starting part-time is the simple fact that if you're working a 9-to-5 job like me, I still try to commit at least 5 to 10 hours a week to my business, because that additional income that it brings in allows us to do all the extra stuff. So if you want to be able to build 6 months to a year worth of savings for an emergency fund, if you want to be able to pay off debt, if you want to be able to pay off your mortgage or pay off a car note, take a vacation that you and your family may not have been able to do, all of that is available by starting something like this part-time. So I really encourage you to think about those questions. Think about why you want to get into this business in the first place and understand what that goal is. Because the person that invited you here today, no doubt has a vested interest in helping you to achieve that goal. So I just wanted to bring that really full circle, because there's multiple ways to do it. There's multiple systems out there. But the biggest thing is our leaders here in Young Living have a vested interest in helping support you to reach some of your goals, whether it be physical, wellness, financial, what have you. The only thing that you have to do is stay committed to the system and keep working hard. Our economy here in the US, we tell our kids, right, to go to school for 4 years to learn a skill, right? I encourage you, give this business 4 years of consistent effort. The skills that you will develop will pay you either handsomely in Young Living along the way, but also will make you invaluable in whatever else you choose to do. I honestly love being in this industry because the skills that my wife and I have developed have allowed us to really grow our finances tenfold. So that's all that I have for you guys. I didn't want to draw it out too much longer, but I really wanted to share that. And then I guess we could take questions if that's what Tashena would like, or what have you.
Yes, we definitely have 6 more minutes for any questions, any comments, anything anyone would like to share. So I guess just one other question, Dayna, when we continue to talk about, and Anthony, we continue to talk about, you don't have to be diamond to get your life changed. So how long would you say that it took you before you felt like Young Living was making impact in your life, both physically and financially?
Okay. So Dayna mentioned earlier in her intro to think about if you didn't have to pay for your healthcare and personal hygiene products out of pocket. For me, that's when I first noticed the change. Now, I don't know if it's easier to tell or not, but between the two of us, I'm probably the more like high maintenance. So the stuff that I would buy money or spend money on every single month to maintain my personal appearance for an average looking guy to keep this nice looking woman, not having to pay for those things freed up money in our household to be able to put that towards something else. So the fact that every single month I get a check and Dayna gets a check and we are reimbursed for what we need for our house, that I think that was like within the first 6 months to a year that I noticed a huge impact. And now, like, we're still working to build, because like we want to be able to drop $1,000 to $2,000 every single month to get everything we actually want and need. But I think that was the time period that I really started to see things change, because you can start to allocate that money towards something else.
I'll hop in just about when did things change health-wise, not necessarily in a financial. It was when I got a sample of Peace and Calming. I wasn't even a
Oh,
member,
yeah.
and I wasn't even a part of Young Living. But I literally got, if you guys know, Evelyn, that little itty bitty sample thing, okay? I don't even know how many drops are in there, but because I'm frugal, I made that work, okay? Like, I don't know if it was just him sniffing it or what it was, but I probably did at least 3 or 4 baths with my son with that little sample. And that's when my eyes were like, wow. Like, cause my son had not slept through the night, and he was definitely over a year. I don't know exactly how old he was at the time, and I was tired, I was stressed, and the fact that I got one night sleep, I was like, every mom needs this. Every mom needs this. Like, there's a way to sleep with a baby.
Yeah, that was our overactive son that you saw on the screen earlier. Hasn't changed much, but the tools that we have to deal with him have changed. So,
Alrighty, any other questions, anyone, before we close it out? Well, all right, if we don't have any other questions, we'll close this out. The replay will be available in the event, as well as if you're in our team, probably in any of the chats that you have for us as well. So thank you guys. Have an amazing afternoon. Bye.
thank you very
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Everyone,
Thank
have a good
you.
evening.
Bye-bye.